Thank you, Stuart. I think that 2014 is the year that we're going to take back California.
Yeah!
You know what? This is a beautiful sight here today. You know, we are standing here legally, lawfully protesting our government. And we are able to do that because of the sacrifice of those who are buried not 2 blocks from here, who have given the ultimate sacrifice that we might be free. We have any
made it.
here today.
Finally.
You know what? Was your GPS acting up at all?
No, I didn't do GPS. I just took the 10.
Okay.
You know, I gotta say,
Yeah, it's been at least 5 years since I had to be in this part of the city.
When you come in the Liberty
I used to deliver cars over in Santa Monica, right off of National.
How many of you had that problem this morning?
And yeah, I got completely lost when it said lost signal. Great.
I gotta tell you, I am excited. I have been traveling up and down the state of California. I have been taking pictures out of the window of the bus,
We're going to go back over to the
out of the window of planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, I saw him pulling up. He pulled up at the same time I did.
Sorry, yeah. Clap. Yeah. I came to this state with $300 in my pocket when I was 19 years old. And I will never forget the day that I left Michigan. I'm the third oldest of 14 kids. We lived in a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom home. Yeah, that .5 was real important in the morning. About half my family was helping me push start my VW Bug. And I turned to wave goodbye, but they were inside fighting over my room. My dad chased me halfway down the street and he gave me $2 in quarters. And he said, son, whatever you do, don't call home. He said, get yourself a Coke somewhere between here and California. You know, I should have been nervous. I should have been worried. But I knew where I was going. I was going to California. I was going to the land of opportunity. You know, went through a whole lot of states. Some of them were pretty. I even went through Texas. Didn't much feel like staying.
Yeah.
But when I crossed into California, something changed. When I got down to the beach and saw my first California sunset, I fell in love. I knew I was home. I knew I was in a place where the only limitation on your dreams is what you could imagine and how hard you are willing to work. And you know, within a decade, I had met and married the most amazing woman in the state of California, my wife, Rowena. And she was a widow with 2 young boys. Yes, give her a round of applause. She deserves it. We added 3, including my son Daniel, who's back there holding the Tim Donnelly sign. We're attracting the youth vote every day with him, let me tell you. You know, we started a business. And we were living the California dream. I was in plastics. Remember that movie, The Graduate? Well, I took it literally. And then along came the government. And they regulated me out of business by driving my customers out of the state of California. You know what? I want my state back. I want my freedom back. I want my boys to have the same opportunity that I had to live the California dream without having to leave the state of California to do it. You know, as I travel this state, almost everywhere I go, there are people who are thinking about leaving the state, or they know someone, a friend, a neighbor, or even their children who have moved and left California to seek opportunity elsewhere. You know, and I hope that this is the last 4 years of Jerry Brown.
Yeah.
Because his reign started 40 years ago, and he took California from first to last in everything that matters. Remember when our education system was the envy of the world? And now we are circling the drain, 48th in reading, 49th in math. We are competing with Alabama and Mississippi and losing. We shouldn't be losing at anything in California. We should be number one. Come on, you can say it.
Maybe I should have brought my jacket for you.
We need to put California on a pathway to prosperity. So on my first day as governor, I will declare a moratorium on all new laws that contain restrictions on your freedom, on your business, and on your constitutional civil rights. I will use the same bully pulpit that Jerry Brown used to raise your taxes to lower them. Because the key to prosperity is freedom. And we need private sector job creation. And in order to do that, we got to get the government out of the way. It's that simple. You know, Jerry Brown claims that he has created 1 million jobs. Well, I haven't seen any evidence of private sector job creation, so they must all be government jobs. And when government grows, liberty shrinks. Yeah. And when government expands, opportunity contracts. Or it hits the highway and heads to Texas. Yeah. And you know, in the state of California, we need to tap the Monterey Shale and unleash California's potential. We need to frack our way to prosperity and drill our way to prosperity rather than sitting on an ocean of oil and importing it from our enemies. You know that USC has done a study and said that would create up to 3 million new jobs in the state of California and $25 to $30 billion in new revenues. That means we could get California working again and start paying down that mountain of debt instead of just standing there staring at it. Have you heard of the miracle in North Dakota? They tapped the Bakken Shale. Now their unemployment rate is under 3%, and they don't have a governor there who's trying to put an artificial floor under the economy known as the minimum wage. Because McDonald's is paying $20 an hour plus a signing bonus. That's the kind of problem I want in California. And the only immigration problem that I want to talk about is a tsunami of U-Hauls coming back from Rick Perry's Texas, coming home to California.
All of us are going to feel so alone.
That will never happen.
The whole Texas thing.
If we don't fix education. As you know, we have millions of California students who are trapped in failing schools. Your zip code should not determine your future. We need common sense education reform, not Common Core. And that starts by respecting teachers. We need a fair way to evaluate teachers so that under a Donnelly administration, we can pay the good teachers more. We can pay the great teachers the most. And then have them travel around the state and teach their teaching methods and seminars to other teachers, just like we do in the business world. And then, if they have bought into the system and they agree it's a fair way to evaluate, they will drag their union kicking and screaming, and we will be able to transition those teachers who never should have spent a single moment in a classroom with our kids, and we can help them find whatever they were meant to do with their lives. And that way we put the students first, and we get California back on a pathway to success. Because you know, most Californians did not need a government poll to tell them, with 72% of Americans have figured out that government has become the greatest threat to your future. And an education that could never be more true. That's an issue we can snatch back from the Democrats. Aren't you tired of being ruled over by Marxist progressives parading as Democrats?
Yeah.
You know, my grandparents were Democrats, and these people bear no resemblance to them. But I believe we have an incredible opportunity right now, right here in California in 2014. You know, they have tried to divide us for so long based on race, based on what we do for a living, based on how well off we are. They have tried to striate America into classes. But you know what? We were all created equal. And every single human being is a child of God. So you know what? The only colors we should worry about are the red, the white, and the blue, because that is the banner of liberty. And I have heard people say that Democrats are the enemy. Democrats are not the enemy. Tyranny is the enemy of freedom.
Yes, sir.
Democrats are our friends. They're our neighbors. They're people we work with and go to church with. Most importantly, Democrats are Americans. You know what? We can unite a divided majority on American values. Hard work, personal responsibility, and above all, freedom. Heck, with the advent of Obamacare and Common Core and all these other things, Democrats are potential future Republican voters, or at least Tim Donnelly voters. You know, when the government becomes the greatest threat, when the government has more control over your business, over your private property, and over your child's education, that's wrong. When the government can put a gun to your head and force you to buy a product you don't want, and then force you to buy a better version of that same product for your neighbor, that's immoral. When the government can dump violent criminals and dangerous predators onto your streets and into your neighborhood and then make you feel like a criminal because you want to buy a gun to defend yourself, that's un-American. But when the government becomes the greatest threat to the very rights it was formed to protect, that's tyranny. And we don't have any modern-day words for tyranny, but we have a whole lot of modern-day examples. We have the NSA spying on us, the IRS trying to silence us, especially you guys with the Tea Party shirts on. I guarantee you, you're on a list.
And proudly so!
Let's give him a round. I love it, I love it. This campaign is not about whether or not we're going to be ruled by the right or by the left in 2014. This campaign is about whether we're going to take a stand for right over wrong. You know what? We can do this. But I can't do this alone. And at this point in the speech, most political candidates will reach in their pocket, pull out an envelope, and ask you for money. And that is a very effective model. But that's not all I'm going to ask you for. The maximum you can give me is $27,200, and if you can write that check, you're meeting me on the bus. But I didn't get here with those kind of checks. Every one of you can do something, and that's why you're here giving up your Saturday in defense of freedom. God bless you for that. So I want you to prayerfully consider what you can do. Get an envelope in your hand. Daniel will be walking around handing them out. Fill it out. Put your name, your information. You can also volunteer to help. I need you to spread the word. I need you to talk to people. I need you to invite me into your community. And I need you to walk door to door and introduce me to your neighbors. It doesn't matter whether you can give me a dime. It matters whether you can give me an hour. You know what? Then I'm going to ask you to do the most important thing. I'm going to ask you to pray. Because when I ran for office the first time, I had more people praying for me than voting for me. And I'm going to ask you not only to pray for me and my family, but also for our great state and our country. Because the real question that is going to be answered in 2014 is one day when we're looking into the eyes of our children's children, whether or not we tell them stories about an epic battle that we waged to defend freedom and the American way of life, or whether we just tell them stories about a place called California that used to be free. That is the question. You are the answer. God bless you for being here today. God bless this great country of ours, and Godspeed. Help me retire Jerry Brown and elect Tim Donnelly for governor. Thank you very much.